Hey you guys, it's Crystal from the Abundantly Blessed Homestead, where we use the wisdom of our ancestors to make amazing, nourishing, delicious meals for our family and grow some of our own food. Today's video is going to be a video just about why we properly prepare grains. I just want to address this question because the answers kind of spread throughout a lot of my videos, and I've completely underestimated how many videos I have on the channel, and I just want it to be easy. So if I mention any videos, I'm going to be linking them down below, so you guys can find them easily and I don't have to repeat the information all here. So the reason why we properly prepare grains is because this is something that our ancestors have done, or used to do, in the 1800s and earlier and early 1900s, before processed foods came into the food chain. So this is all based on Dr. Weston A. Price's discovery when he traveled the world to see why indigenous people had enough room for all of their teeth in their mouth, including their wisdom teeth, and he had to look in 3 mouths in order to find one cavity. So he traveled the world and studied these people, made notes, and he actually wrote a book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Dr. Weston A. Price. If you're interested, you can get that book on almost any used website. Amazon has it, Thrift Books has it, Abe Books has it, all the book sites have it. Totally affordable, tons of information in there and pictures from his actual traveling. So that's a wealth of information. So what I do with my family is based on what he found in these indigenous people. How do they have nice big wide jaws? How do they have no cavities? That's where I'm basing my information out of. You can also go to www.westonaprice.org. They have a ton of information there for free. And if you want to support their studying into modern day food and what is good for us and what is not, you can become a member for only $40 a year. And there's lots of bonuses you get for becoming a member. But they do have just free information, tons of free information on their website. Okay, so the long and short of it is this. All nuts and seeds of the earth and legumes, anything that you can plant and get the same plant over again, has what we call phytic acid in it. It also has something called an enzyme inhibitor. The enzyme inhibitor is something that prevents that seed from sprouting until spring. So usually, typically, the seeds fall down and there's a resting time before they sprout back again. That would be the enzyme inhibitor within the seed. Also, all nuts and seeds and legumes and everything of the earth have the phytic acid. And the phytic acid, its role for a seed, is to combine with other nutrients that are inside the soil and help to feed that sprout. The problem is when we consume these grains and nuts and seeds of the earth with the phytic acid still in them and the enzyme inhibitors, the phytic acid, when we eat this, it goes into our body and it binds with other things that would bind with inside the soil, like calcium and zinc and a long list of other things. And obviously, if you're eating something and it's robbing calcium from your bones, probably not a good thing to consume a lot of. Now, I get the question a lot, how much is too much phytic acid? Well, that's different with everybody. So basically what you want to do, the goal is to keep it as low as possible. Just like toxins in your home. We don't know how much is too much, we're just trying to eliminate as much as possible. So the goal is to keep it as low as possible by properly preparing our grains. So what are some things that we properly prepare? Flour. Flour will be one of them. There are several different ways to prepare them. You can buy sprouted flour. And because that seed is already sprouted, there's no phytic acid. You could buy, you could make sourdough. Sourdough completely removes the phytic acid and makes the gluten more digestible for your system. And then the third way is through soaking. Now, I've written a cookbook right here. That in here I invented my own recipes by just simply soaking flour. So I have recipes in here on how to make homemade sandwich bread. I have recipes in here on how to make the soaked version of the sandwich bread, the English muffins, pancakes, all sorts of things all in here, along with sourdough recipes if you choose to do that. But I wanted to invent a recipe that people could take their regular flour that they're used to baking with and adding water and an acidic medium like apple cider vinegar or whey, and properly prepare the flour that they are already using. Trying to take the complicatedness out of it and the fear of starting sourdough, and you can still properly prepare your breads. Once you get the hang of the recipes in this book, you can take your other recipes that you've been making for years and convert them to soaking recipes as well. So if you don't have this book, It is $28 plus $4 shipping. I will leave my email down below. All you have to do is email me. All right, so that would be the proper preparation of flour and why we do it. Okay, so now on to rice, beans, nuts, seeds of the earth, okay? All of those also contain those two things, the phytic acid and enzyme inhibitors. So we soak them and then we ferment them to make sure we completely remove those two things. And so typically in the beginning of the month, what I do is I look at all of the recipes I'm going to be making with my meal plan, and I record how many cups of everything I'm going to need, and then I soak it all at once. And I will leave videos down below, link down below. I will leave the video on how to make homemade peanut butter. I discuss in there how to soak nuts. I will leave the link down there for the complete guide to soaking and fermenting beans, where I also discuss rice. I'll leave that all down below, okay? I do have an older video on how to ferment rice, but there's so much more information in the complete guide to soaking beans, but I'll also link the one for rice down below. So typically what I do is I soak everything all at once, and I ferment everything all at once in glass jars on my counter, and then I rinse them, and then I put them into Ziploc freezer bags and store them inside my freezer. The reason why is because it takes time and forethought to think about all of the grains you're going to be using for your meals, and I just want to make sure I have it into the freezer and it's ready to go. So that's my quick tip for you. That is how I do this with 5 kids. I sit down and I just make sure I do all of the rice and beans and everything all at once. Now, of course, the soaked flour recipes, you'll have to do that ahead of time. That's usually the night before. Same thing with sourdough. But with the rice and beans and nuts, you can soak them all at once and get them done and out of the way. Another question that I commonly get is, what about sprouted items you can find into the store? So like sprouted flour, sprouted oatmeal, those sort of things. Those are all safe to use as they are. There's no soaking or fermenting required because that sprouting process has already used up the enzyme inhibitor and the phytic acid in order to sprout. So those are all items that are a little bit more expensive, but if you don't have the time to soak and ferment, that's what I would recommend, is spending a little bit of extra money and buying the already sprouted items that you can find inside your local store. Alright, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I will link all the videos I discussed down below. Also, keep your eyes out. There is a pre-scheduled class on February 17th about making your own homemade medicinal tinctures. We're going to talk about how to make them, where to buy supplies, how to save hundreds of dollars by making your own, and what basic ones you should have inside your herbal cabinet. So if you're interested in that, go to that pre-scheduled event right now on the channel, click notify me, and I'll see you guys on the 17th. Thanks so much for watching my videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.